Hey guys, TehJew22 here, and welcome to another edition of TehJew22 Talks. Now, last time my guest was a very good friend of mine by the name of Fries, 101 Reviews, and it was a nice talk with him, much like we had a interview, only this time he was the interviewer and I was the one being interviewed. But my next guest is a friend of both myself as well as Fries. She goes by many names, but the most common would have to be the. Actually, she doesn't really have a lot of nicknames except for the fact that. Well, alright. How about. I guess the best way to describe her is this: she's crazy, she's sweet, but more importantly, she's a lady. She is CrazyCandyLady123. Say hello.
Hello, guys. How are you?
Hey, it's great to have you here on the show, and I'm just it's so great to have you, and I may as well ask you one question right off the bat, and that is, where does the name Candy come from?
Oh, candy. It comes from well, okay. So since my name's Amanda, I have this nickname in real life where people actually call me Mandy, like my family does, and very funny because in real life, it's like I have a sweet tooth and I just love candy. So, I just went with it and I was like, hey, Candy Mandy.
Oh my goodness gracious! I love it.
Ah, boy.
My goodness. I never would have thought that. I mean, I had a feeling that that's what it was, but I could never be too sure. I never could be sure about that. But
Well, yeah. I I just it's kind of weird how I went with crazy Candler.
yeah, well, but for those who are meeting you for the first time, um, why the crazy surname?
Crazy. It's because in real life I'm just awkward, weird, and
And just
when I talk,
crazy?
when I talk to my friends, like I just do the weirdest things, and I just I I don't know. I'm just really crazy.
Well, well,
And of course I'm Latina, so
oh, well, of
that's
course.
a plus.
But but as for how you are a lady, well, that's I don't have to. You don't have to say why because that's exactly what you are, a lady.
Well, I was gonna go with Crazy Candy Girl at first, but I thought Lady sounds more better. And funnily enough, there's actually an eating place called the Crazy Candy Lady. So I mean, I came up with the name before I even know about that place, and I was like, whoa, really? It's pretty interesting.
So in other words, it was meant to be.
Yes. Oh, in that place they actually sell candy and sweets, so that's a plus.
Wow. But you know what? Um, I'm just it's amazing to know more stuff about the people behind the personalities and where the name comes from.
Yeah, indeed.
Much like I found out that why Fries calls himself Fries. It's because he loves to eat fries.
Well, obviously.
I just thought that was so cool.
Yes. It pretty much varied from when I had a Steam account and I would go on this thing called Gmod, and I just I just named myself that basically, and I used to be like very weird and crazy in the servers, and I had like a lot of friends. They would like laugh with me, and it did be funny. And I used to actually had my account as Candy is Love, Candy is Life, and yeah, or Candy Girl also. But
Yes.
for my YouTube, I actually had a different name called Miss Unique Sims since I actually wanted to be like Sims related. But I decided to then change it to like from my Steam account to CrazyCandyLady because I just thought, I just loved it and it just sticked on with me based
Oh,
for that.
that's so cool. And but I think as cool as that was, I don't think it could ever beat how cool like the story of how we met.
Yeah, we met. It was awesome how we met. It started with me being a little rude, I guess, but in the end, we turned out to be really great friends, or best
Oh,
say. Yeah.
yeah. Okay, what she's talking about is, all right. I've mentioned before on most of my other videos how I go to a stream that is hosted by Eternal Shinobi, and that's where I met a host of some of my best friends now. Well, I mean, I still have a lot of friends that I made beforehand, but probably one of the best. Not to take anything away from Zekrom or Jakoi. One of them was you,
Yes.
and
And yeah, there it's like a family to us, and
yes,
yeah.
yeah, we're like brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird to say that, but that's what it is. It's kind of like we're brothers and sisters. Like I'm your big brother, and then you're like my one of my little sisters. Although at times you don't even act like a little sister. You're more like a sister, nonetheless.
Yeah, and it's funny because well, while I play as Princess Daisy a lot, like, okay, Eternals actually streams Mario Kart 8, like
Yes.
Nintendo related games, and TehJew would always be Toad, and well, that I would be Daisy, but then, like, I switched to Toadette, and, like, we had the same cart and all, we both would, like, race together as, like, brother and sister, which was very sweet.
Aw. Although some people say that Toad and Toadette are not so much brother and sister as they are BF and
I
GF.
Yeah, I see them more like that. I see them more as a couple than brother and sister. I feel I just like that a lot more than brother and sister.
Yeah. I mean, I can see the blue Toad, aka me, and then trying to find my Toadette or Toad Girl. But yeah, I see Toad and Toadette as a couple, though. I will say that. And then I just thought, and plus we were playing Mario Kart 8, and and of course, usually when we play Mario Kart 8 or games like that, anytime you go on a losing streak, you become very, very, very well. Originally it's called being a bad sportsmanship person or being a bad sport. Other people, we just call it saltiness.
Yes, I mean me when you actually mean like you said you're sorry, and I'm like this toad bitch. Excuse my language, but yeah, that's what I exactly said. I called you a toad bitch.
Yeah, that's right. You did call me a little bitch. That's what you called me.
Yes, and sorry for that. I should have met you a lot better. It's just like, but at least with that we still became the most awesome friends that we are now. Yeah.
Yes.
Just with that word, toad bitch, it just started from there.
Yeah. And then not too long after that. Well, before we get to that, I should say, let's talk a little bit more about Shinobi himself. How did you meet Shinobi yourself?
Oh, actually, our friend Luke, he actually introduced me to Shinobi. Like he said that he usually would go on the stream and play Mario Kart with him. I'm like, ooh, that this guy sounds interesting. So then one day I went on. Well, I didn't actually went on the stream. I just went into the game, and then Shinobi was himself. He was like, oh, a candy girl. She likes candy apparently. So yeah, it's funny. And like, while one day Luke wasn't there, I actually went to the chat and was like, "Hello, it's me." Like, I actually followed him, and like Shinobi actually thought that I was Sekrom, our friend Sekrom, like because he had the 96 in the end, and I also did too. So
Oh, okay. Okay,
yeah,
so in other words, I'm just going to clarify for the audience at home. Crazy Candy Lady made her account with the 96 instead of 123 in her name, as she usually does, but on Twitch though. And Shinobi thought that Zekrom was using another account, albeit a girl's account, but not knowing that it was you.
yes,
So
and
so
like
so he thought
yeah.
that you were a guy trying to disguise himself as a girl.
Yeah, and it's just great because like from the start, I started copying his setup and everything, and like we just started wars, and it just started from there that it was just a beautiful friendship, and I just started coming to the stream every day because I was very obsessed, and I just loved it, and like from there, then me and you started talking more, and it just started with you saying like you went to my channel and you saw my video and
Yes, I did. Oh, I may as well talk about how I came to your channel. Okay, so we met each other on Shinobi's, and at first you did call me a little toad bitch, and yeah, I remember that. But then I take it that you were just upset that you haven't been able to win at that point.
yeah,
because you were
excuse me for that, I'm so sorry.
well, I was just gonna say, like, you were on a losing streak, so that would explain why you were salty. And I remember, not long after that, like, we made up, and then I kept encouraging you, like, hey, you're gonna get this, you're gonna get this. And
Yeah.
and at one point, you finished in second, so you felt a little less salty, and then you won two in a row, and you felt much better after that. I remember that day though.
Oh yeah.
And then, but I remember we also talked very, very deep, and we had a little bit of a deep chat between us, like just like in the private section of it.
Yeah, we did. We started just to talk more and more,
Yep.
which was just amazing because we got to know each other more, and yeah, we talked about depressing stuff, and how like we both got bullied also in life, and
Oh
we just
yes.
saw how much we related to each other, and that just made our friendship grow even more, which was just beautiful.
Well, I wasn't going to talk much about that, but since you brought it up, yes, we've I've been bullied. I mean, sure, it's kind of hard to think that I was bullied, but but I have been in the past, and heck, even up in the months leading up to me going to Shinobi's, I was kind of bullied a little bit. But again, I'm not going to talk too much about that, but I can talk about the fact that yeah, we can relate in that sense.
Mm.
And then not long after that, I go to your channel, and I was like, I noticed that you had a channel. I was like, wait, you have a channel? So I was like, so I go to it, and I check out your videos, and the one that stuck out to me at the time was Toadette
But
featuring
yeah,
Toad. Who says? I love that
yeah,
song, and I was like, Toadette is so beautiful that she gets largely overshadowed by the princesses, and even heck, even most of the other princes like Rosalina and Peach overshadow Daisy, though.
They do because they're blonde and just have beautiful blue eyes. But Daisy, I just love Daisy and Toadette a lot more because as you know, Teju, we should tell the audience that
Yeah.
I have the personality of both in me, and
Yes.
while I look like Daisy with the hairstyle, the little curliness and the headband. Yeah, yeah. Sorry.
I understand that I mentioned that you have the personality of mainly Toadette, but that you have the figure
Daisy.
of Daisy. And I thought, you know what, you keep yourself in good shape, and I'm like, well, you know what, uh, she's kind of like, I thought to myself, and I don't think I've ever mentioned this to you, and I may as well mention it to you now, is that all other things being equal, you're like the girl version of me in a way. But I mean, it's just just take that for what you will. But yeah, you do have the personality of both Toadette and Daisy, and you have the figure of Daisy, which is true.
Yeah. Well, I can be like so that I could be really like tough and really loud mouth and such like Daisy when I play video games for sure. You can see like some of our gameplay vids with Mario Kart 8 on, well, our friend Fry's 101 reviews, and we played on there, and you could just hear my thoughts going through.
Yeah, I'm still enjoying the videos that Fry's made to this day, and it's funny as hell. I'll tell you one thing.
Yeah. Oh boy, it is great. But yes, I'm just really happy I could be here to Jew and telling y'all this.
It just it that right there touches my heart. But back to that video. Who says that one was the one that put me in? That was what sold me to the fact that, you know what, this girl's gonna be a star one day. I just thought, you know what, the only thing she needs is help.
Yes, I just needed a bit more help with, and I got it. I got it, and I thank you to you because you've helped me in areas like making my intro and such, and you just helped me in general, just like our friend Fries, of course, and all my other friends. I thank you a lot for that.
Oh well, that touches my heart. And then not long after that, we were talking about like more stuff like how we were bullied and stuff like that, and then as well as one particular anime that we both loved. I loved it because I could see it from both sides. Like Peach Girl, that's the name of the anime.
I When I found out that was your favorite, I was like, what? That is my favorite. It's like, oh my god, this dude is like my twin. I say it's like we definitely are the girl and guy version of ourselves, like of each other.
Yeah, yeah, because it's like, oh, sure, there's differences like
Yeah. So.
in, well, not just gender but also age wise a little bit, and that is, I'm the guy version of you and you're the girl version of me. It's just crazy, man. But well, not crazy candy lady, but you know what I mean. But in all seriousness, though, I really did enjoy the um uh Peach Girl. That's it. I really enjoyed it. Like at first when I watched it, I only saw it from Momo's side. But then when I
Yeah.
watched it again, I looked at it from what's his name?
Higher.
Kyrie.
Yeah.
Kyrie. You know, what is it? His name Toji or Tojo or
Toji.
Toji? Yeah, Toji. He's a nice guy too, but I never could get into his character the way that I did with Kyrie.
It's because Kyrie was more like easygoing, and he always made Momo try to laugh. He always tried bringing up the mood and such. Even there was like rough times between both. Like he actually had like a something dark about him that we didn't really know until later in the anime.
Yes, and I can say the same thing about yours truly, because I have dark things that of course I'm not going to say, because come on, it's my life. I don't want to say too much about it, but the only thing I can say is that we we have dark secrets or dark things that we don't want to go through, and never want to go through, and never want to put anybody. I wouldn't want to put you into it, and I wouldn't want even my enemies to go through it.
Indeed, like it's like I've had so many people hurt me in the past, but yeah, sure. Before I was like, I want something bad to happen to them, but now it's like, I don't really want them to go through something hard either. Like I just don't like seeing other people getting hurt, like in that way that I did, especially since I actually have had a huge mistake done in my life, which I'm not really gonna say or talk about
Oh
because it's
no,
very
no.
personal, and no, it just can't be on the internet.
No.
Sorry, guys, but I can't really talk about that. It's very, very big, and
It's very personal, I know that. But I know that, sometimes, the stupid things we do for other people, and yet it was like all for nothing at times. That's kind of the best way I could describe what you did and what I did, even.
yeah, I'll
Okay.
just say that I was just stupid. I was young, and well, I still am young. I still act immature at times. I'll say that. I still need time to grow up,
Yes.
and I still need to grow to love myself, because that's like one of the reasons why that probably happened.
Yes.
But yes, guys, learn to love yourself, first before you love anybody else.
Yeah.
Just like that.
I can say the same thing. I mean, I knew I liked myself, but I never wanted to like myself to the point where I was more like a narcissist. Uh,
Exactly. I don't want to be that way either. It's just
or Adriana Grande, I think her name is. I mean, that girl is full of herself, if you know what I mean. And
Ariana Grande.
yeah, she's full of herself. That's the best. That's one of the best examples of people that are full of themselves.